Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
Y'all,
This
just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. What if this show started just 5 seconds?
We would be canceled.
Or we would shoot to number one.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we'd make headlines. We'd
Yep.
make headlines. I think every show is like that, right? You think right before they start, it's like a little nutty.
I don't know if every
Here it
show
is.
really.
Maybe not.
Yeah, we really like each other, so we talk right up until the show starts.
Yeah, on the other hand, a lot of other shows don't say anything until that red light goes
That's
on.
true. Have you ever seen like a live news report? We're gonna get to the show, but when they like, I've gone and like sat behind the scenes when they're reading news and like, hey, what's going on? So how's your wife? Is everything good? They're like, hold on, 3 murders in the mall today,
totally,
and I'm like,
I know.
what? And then they're like, news at 9. So what's up? You celebrated the birthday? And I'm just like, did you know that was coming? Because I'm so fascinated. And the news people they don't even read what's coming. They just read it.
Yeah.
And I study it, and I still can't get it right. All right, let's get to the show. Welcome to DBL. The split between Joe Jonas and Game of Thrones actress Sophie Turner is sparking a battle of the sexes. After news of their divorce broke, some tabloids claimed Sophie's partying was to blame, while Joe was labeled a homebody who likes to take care of the kids. Some outlets have been praising Joe for being in dad mode, but people online are saying it's only because we set the bar so low when it comes to fathers. Ouch. Meantime, the Jonas Brothers shared a group hug on stage during their show in Phoenix last night. It was their first concert since news of the divorce officially broke, which has nothing to do with the story whatsoever. I think they do that after every show, and we're just incorporating into this.
Well, I mean, he did look like a homebody in that clip.
Yeah, what's up with that zing on fathers, dude?
I was like, I can only speak from personal experience. I know a lot of fathers sitting across from one of the best I've ever met. And my friends are super excited about being fathers. I think for a long time, the narrative about men showing any emotion, the idea of your dad putting his arm around you, giving you a hug, saying, I love you, he would face flack from his fathers and his friends. And now I think a lot of friends would ask, how do I get closer to my daughter? What do you do if your son does this? I think a lot of guys are interested in being fathers. It's awesome. So I think we're just kind of seeing the first time in our society where it's okay.
The narrative needs to catch up to both of your points, because historically, and for many reasons, some of it being systemic, fathers weren't in the picture. So whether it was by choice or whether you were incarcerated for other reasons, I do think that there was a narrative. I definitely agree with the two of you that dads are very much excited to be involved, and it's more 50-50 than it was in the past. So that stigma needs to go away, and it's not going to when you continue to have narratives like this. However, we do have to point out that the first narrative with this TMZ story was that Sophie Turner was not a homebody and she was a partier. But then you look back at actual moments on television and on TikTok where both Joe Jonas and Sophie call her the homebody. So at the same time, sometimes women can be unfairly blamed too. I see both sides here.
Yeah, everyone's basically taking their own insecurities and experiences and projecting it onto the story.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
I'm not shading it, because that's how we digest things that we don't understand, or that's how we resonate with things that we do. So I'm not mad at either side for coming up with these different things. I just think that at the end of the day, and in most situations, regardless of what everybody else will have you believe, these are young people who have a young family. They are very successful. They have their entire lives ahead of them. They seem as though they're able to do this amicably. And some people are doing this because they don't want to see that either. Yeah. So I think you always have to just be really still, especially when you're in a dissolution of marriage. You have children involved, because the only opinions that matter are going to be the two of y'all's and how your kids are looking at you as a result of it.
Yeah. That's all that matters. I mean, it's just it's ridiculous. We're fighting about Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas or whatever. The Rock and Oprah are terrible people for giving money to Maui. It's like, what is happening in the
Stop
planet?
focusing on them and focus on yourself.
Oh, no.
The way people came for me over that Oprah, The Rock thing, I'm like, oh, I see. You, somebody who likes to spend other people's money. Got it.
We should have snuck that story back in. Here's another one about money, though. Moving on to another celebrity split, a judge has ordered Kevin Costner's ex to pay up. So Christine Baumgardner was ordered to pay more than $14,000 in attorney fees for Kevin after challenging the spousal support section of their prenuptial agreement. This comes after a judge sided with Kevin and awarded her only $63,000 a month in child support. How does anyone live on that? And opposed to the $175,000 that she originally wanted. Who's to blame here? Her being greedy? Because that's what it looks like. Or should we blame the lawyers for telling her to keep going?
I have seen Divorce Court. If you have not seen it, it's a remarkably eye-opening documentary where you literally see some of the world's best attorneys, and this really is an American problem. Other countries have figured this out, and they just do a nominal fee. There's a moderator there, and they split it up amicably, and that's it. And maybe you're out $500. Literally. Here, you see a lot of the attorneys, these hotshot attorneys, looking at your bank account and telling their clients and saying, I need to know what's in your bank account so I can protect that against said spouse. And then in reality, you see them looking at their own bottom line. Oh, I want a new pool, or I need to send my kids to college. How long can I drain them and draw this out? But then at the same time, you need to have discernment. You need to, yes, I get that you're going to listen to your attorney, but at the same time, you've been divorced. Erica, you've been divorced. How much do you listen to your attorney, and how much do you say, okay, $63,000 is a lot of money. Am I going to go for $175?
But she already had it like 120, and then she shot for 175, and then the judge took it back.
Right. I mean, big swings, big misses,
Yeah.
Jeff. And Sam, to your point, like divorce, you have to think about you're sitting here thinking logically. We're all sitting here thinking logically. What's happening in real time during a divorce? A lot of times there is animosity and anger to the nth degree.
Right.
So now you have somebody that you think is on your side, your lawyer saying, Erica, we are going to get him.
Yeah.
You think he's going to leave you and run off with this secretary? We're going to do this and that. But there's no we. The lawyer's the one making the money, but it's this weird fake partnership that I think people get sucked into, and that's why people end up losing all their money because of emotion.
Yeah, but emotion should also be your driving force to just try to resolve this as soon as possible. Like most people, I know for us, in my situation, we were tired.
Yes.
Like, you're just exhausted. Like, again, we were young people with our entire lives ahead of us. Maybe we should have just not had a second date. You know, people do that all the time. It's like a first date that ends up becoming a marriage.
Right.
You know, things happen. But at the end of the day, it's like, I want to live my life and I want you to live your life and I want to be happy. So sometimes if you think that happiness is going to come in the form of these astronomical payments that the courts have already said are protected, well, you're just going to be unhappy for a longer period of time.
Right.
But all it takes is one party to drag it out.
I would just like to have that lawyer interviewed and be like, well, maybe you should pay that $60,000 a month that you lost her for pushing for 175. What are your thoughts on that? What's the name of your lawyer company?
Right.
We had an
Great
ironclad.
question.
I don't know why I'm doing
Prenup.
this.
Yeah.
We had an ironclad prenup, and you keep pushing the bar. You just lost her $60,000 a month. Maybe you should be mad at that guy and stop putting her in the news, even though I think she's to blame
Next
as well.
client.
Coming up on DBL, we're getting a first look at a new docuseries that exposes the dark side of the modeling industry in the 90s. In our interview with TV host Maria Menounos, she gets candid about her battle with pancreatic cancer and how she's inspiring others.
Side of modeling where, Linda was told to lose weight, and then Naomi said that she would do all these fashion, walks and all that kind of stuff, but when it came to advertorial campaigns, nowhere. So she was kind of, left out of.
Linda was?
No, Naomi.
Naomi was.
So she was saying.
Editorial?
Like for advertising campaigns.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like she would walk runways and things like that.
Yeah.
Right.
The dark side of taking photos for millions of dollars. I'm kidding.
Well, she said
I'm
it's basically-
kidding. Everyone relax. We're on YouTube.
So I wanted to talk about Kevin Costner's ex because there's a side of the story that no one really talks about because it's completely unrelatable. But you have a lot of these women and men who get with people who are, socially or economically advantaged, and it's always like, why don't they have any money? And that's my thing too. Like, why would you get into something that you don't have any financial control over? However, there's this thing called a golden cage. And what happens is people who are in the financially advantaged position don't want this bird to fly the coop, so they rent a cage for them, as opposed to allowing them to make enough money or stockpile something for themselves to own their own cage. And it's like, it's a very antiquated, so it's like, I will rent you
a condo and lease you a port. I know those girls from the club.
Right. I'll rent this for you, but they'll never directly give them the money for them to be like, you know what, I could actually own a home that would be a quarter of the price of this. I'm just going to take that money and put it into that, because then they would have assets.
I never thought of that. Wow.
It's a control
freedom.
thing.
It's a control
Yeah.
thing. That's crazy.
Welcome back to DBL. We are getting a first look at the docuseries Supermodels. The 4-part series shows how supermodels Linda Evangelista, Cindy Crawford, Naomi Campbell, and Christy Turlington took over the fashion industry in the 90s. But the series also exposes a dark side to the modeling industry. Let's watch.
I was not seen as a person who had a voice in her own destiny.
He said you should lose 5 pounds. I got scared I didn't belong.
But Linda's a chameleon.
She could really become whatever the photographer wanted her to become.
I would do all these great shows, wear all these beautiful dresses, but then it would come time to the advertising and I would not be included. I wasn't going to be bullied for the color of my skin.
Wow.
I mean, is anybody shocked?
No, but I'm fascinated.
Yeah.
Because we put them all on a pedestal in the 90s and they were all fighting their own battles.
Well, I mean, it's kind of, we're in this weird cycle where every 20 years we look back at how awful we were 20 years ago. We saw this with the Abercrombie and Fitch documentary. But any situation where there are young people, especially young, attractive people, and rich, older, creepy guys, we have the same story. They're taken away to some far city, Paris, some island somewhere, and they're taken advantage of economically, and a lot of times they're physically assaulted.
Or mentally.
And mentally. And I mean, you see what happens. We're still doing stories, Erica, about does Cindy Crawford have wrinkles in her 60s? I mean, it's a never-ending attack on how you look.
Yeah, I think, and just from the Naomi Campbell side, I also think about a conversation we were having earlier about a woman who's very successful and very beautiful, and she was deemed difficult. And Naomi Campbell has been labeled that by so many people in all different ways, and you're just like, I understand that she's beautiful and she's successful and all of these things, but she constantly had to fight, and her thing was the representation, was to be equal and equitable, and then she was labeled difficult. So that's what I got from it.
For as much as we complain about social media, the good thing is now people can have their own narrative, because that's the way they would bury you in an industry. Sam's difficult to work with. Okay, cross her name off. And now people are like, nah, I know her, tweets and things like that. But it used to be just a label could just say you were this and that was you for the rest of your life.
I think it's still kind of true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure. Coming up on DBL, TV host Maria Menounos shares how her perspective on life changed after beating cancer. Stick around. That's next.
Welcome back to DBL. She's a woman who can take a hit and keep on thriving. She's the familiar face who's been open and honest about her triumphs and struggles. Earlier, we spoke with TV host, cancer survivor, and new mom, Maria Menounos. Take a look.
You recently posted about the struggles you've had the past 6 years, from your benign brain tumor to losing your mom, I'm so sorry, to your pancreatic cancer diagnosis. I wanted to ask you specifically, because you bring this up, about food in your journey. Speak to us about how important it is through all those ups and downs.
Well, Hippocrates said, let food be thy medicine. I think we've strayed a little bit from that. And the more you watch TV and you see commercials, you're like, oh, we've really strayed from that. I think food is a really big part of the journey, but also what's in between here. And I think this might even be the biggest, guys. It's our thoughts. It's what we believe. It's not having control of our thoughts, and not having an undisciplined mind is really, really a big part of what manifests in our bodies, right? It's allowing so much stress into our lives. And I did for so many years. You know, our health is an accumulation of kind of poor choices along the way. Yes, there are some things that are genetic. Yes, there are things that we can't control. But for me, I watched my life trying to keep up with my schedule, eating fast food, not taking care of myself. It all eventually took its toll. When I started to get healthy, it was a little bit too late. So this is what I do here on my show, Heal Squad, every single day. I'm sounding the alarms for everyone. Please don't let it become too late. A little autoimmune condition isn't just a little autoimmune condition. It's the beginning. It's the gateway to everything. You cannot just go to the doctor, take a pill, and go home. You have to be the CEO of your health. You have to manifest the life that you want, which is why I'm partnering with RX Bars to create these Manifest Bars, so that you can have an accountability partner every single day. You can write down what you want in your life every single day on these bars and keep yourself on track so that you can achieve them. And I had someone on my show recently who said, when you write your goals down, you are 42% more likely to achieve them. That's a big stat for me.
Maria, I say that on this show all the time. My old boss was so into goal setting and all that, and he passed it along to me. I totally believe in all that stuff, but for a different time, I guess, huh? We'll talk about it. But let's talk about you. You're in remission now, congratulations. But when you heard pancreatic cancer for the first time, what was your thought? What was going through your head, speaking of your thoughts?
So we had just found out that we were pregnant with Athena, let's say a few months before. When I heard that there was a tumor on my pancreas, I instantly thought I was a goner, and I said that out loud to the radiologist. Went right to my primary doctor, got an MRI, and then when it was confirmed, he and I were crying in the waiting room together, and my husband was just like, we're going to be fine, we're going to be fine. And the next day, my husband and I were in the fetal position, just in bed crying, because all you know, or I knew about pancreas tumors, is you're dead. This is it. They take you so quickly. So I had to use my tools to get out of that sunken place very fast, because you're going to get hit, like you said, but it's about how much you can take and keep moving forward. How long are you going to stay down before you get up and you fight and you push and you try?
That's remarkable. The power of thought is clearly life-changing. You are an example of that. Something we have to talk about. You recently welcomed your daughter after years of infertility. I so applaud you for being vulnerable. You are single-handedly helping break that stigma. So as a fellow mom who remembers the newborn stage, what's the hardest part of motherhood for you right now, and how are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Listen, I feel so blessed to finally have her, that anything that is hard right now is so small. And honestly, I didn't have to carry her. I didn't have to push her out. I don't have postpartum. I am having a much easier journey than the average mom, and I recognize that. But for me, it's just been the most joyous time of my life. I've never been happier. Everyone who sees me just sees that I'm just so happy being a mom. The greatest thing ever
Look
happened.
at you. You're going to make me cry. Your eyes, your smile. I mean, you can just see the gratitude all over you. That is beautiful.
DBL Nation, to learn more about RX bars, visit their website. Also, you can enter for a chance to win Maria's limited edition RX bars. Maria, honestly, thank you so much for today. I'm speechless. You're incredible. You are. We'll be right back. Thank you, Maria.
Welcome back. We've got some great products from our friends at Morning Save. Check them out.
Steph, what do you have for us today?
Hey Tori, hi DBL Nation. I am so excited to show you all the deals today. And believe me, they are great. So let's check them out. We've got the Evatronic 11-inch 2K Wi-Fi digital photo frame.
Oh, wow.
This deal includes one photo frame that can display pictures, videos, the temperature, and more. You can easily add photos and videos to the frame with a convenient app through email, with a TF card, a USB drive, or with the included USB cable. Normally this is $170. We've got it for $59.99. That is saving 65%. Now check out this, Tori. We've got the Terry Pro Digital Hot Brush Smoothing System. This deal includes one straightening brush. We've got it available in either this beautiful purple or blue. This is ideal for all hair types and it's perfect for those who might be new to heat styling. So normally this is $95. We, however, have got it for $24.99.
Oh!
That's saving 74%. Now check out this. We've got the Dash 1.75 quart Greek yogurt maker.
Whoa!
Tried to sound American there. Yogurt. This deal includes one base, one lid, one small container, one large container, and one strainer. Normally it's $50.
Don't love that.
We've got it for just $20.
I love that.
That's saving 60%. Check out our last product today, Tori. It's the Home Eco electric spin scrubber with 5 brush heads.
Oh, wow.
So this deal includes one scrubber, it's got 5 brush heads, and it comes with a storage hook. And normally this is $90. We have it for just $25.99, which is saving 71%.
Very nice. Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices always, or you can even scan the QR code right on screen to take you directly to these products on Morning Save's website. Thank you so much, Steph.
I want that frame.
You want that frame?
We've talked about frames, and like the older you get, how like we kind of scout them because they're more expensive than you think when you grow up. But I want that.
Do you ever walk in a frame shop and you're like, what the hell's going on in here?
Yeah.
It's $500 to frame a magazine, and no other customers are in there ever.
What are you talking about?
It's so
Frames
expensive.
are expensive.
Are you insane?
It's so expensive.
I just framed a bunch of stuff for literally nothing.
And you took out a loan on your house?
Where?
You go and you put the frame together yourself.
Oh,
you go to
if
Michael's.
Yeah, if you build your own.
I wish we had
raft,
more time to hear the
yes,
rest
you
of
can
the
have a
story.
Go to Michael's and you